Moving on now to a Bloomberg scoop. The founder of the electric trucking company, Nikola, exaggerated the capabilities of the debut truck. Our Ed Ludlow broke this story and joins us now. Ed, what can you tell us about what happened here?
So on December the 1st, 2016, in Salt Lake City, Trevor Milton, who is Nikola's founder and now executive chairman, unveiled the Nikola One, the company's first prototype truck, and it was displayed as a hydrogen fuel cell EV. And at the time, he told the audience that they had to chain the truck down to stop it being driven off by, people in case they drove it off the stage. He said that it was not a pusher, which is industry parlance for basically meaning a prototype that cannot operate under its own power. It needed to be pushed onto the stage. What sources told me is that that's exactly what it was. It was an inoperable prototype, that it had several components missing from it, including the components relating to the motor, the gears, and the fuel cell at the heart of the hydrogen system. There was no fuel cell in it, according to sources. And so it was, essentially immovable, as sources describe it. And I guess it's important to add that Trevor Milton, when I spoke to him this morning, pushed back against that, saying that he had never deceived anyone. But he did, say at that time and in interviews the following day that it was a working operational vehicle.
Right. So how does he explain some of these inconsistencies then? I mean, this is a company that has taken off in part because of how this truck was debuted and is considered, a potential real competitor, or has been considered a potential real competitor to Tesla.
So he says on the fuel cell that there was no fuel cell in that prototype, but he also says that he never said there was a fuel cell within it. There was a last-minute pivot several weeks before the event where they moved from a natural gas system to a hydrogen fuel cell system. But he says he never actually stated that there was a fuel cell inside that prototype. He said that the components that I mentioned that we believe to be missing were removed on purpose for safety reasons. The other thing that he said was, at the time of the event, was that they had tested it. And he recently told us at Bloomberg that it had been tested. When I spoke to him this morning, he said that they had tested it with these components missing and without power. They basically let it roll down an incline with those pieces missing. And his explanation for that was also safety, that by removing the motor and removing the gears, the truck essentially could not run away and therefore hurt anyone. But yeah, so that's kind of how he sums the situation.
So what does Nikola actually then plan to do? What's next?
So Nikola's got different stages of goals. The first is to build a battery electric semi-truck, which it's doing as a joint venture with CNH Industrial Iveco in Germany, and a plant in Germany which is already built, and that will be a sort of cooperation with another company. At the same time, they're looking to build a factory in Arizona, about 30 miles south of Phoenix, where they will eventually build a hydrogen fuel cell semi-truck, but that is much further into the distance. They're not expecting to make any serious revenue on any of these products until around 2023. So these are sort of more realistic goals. But the big umbrella point that a lot of people are picking up on is that Nikola wants to develop a hydrogen network that it can use to fuel these hydrogen fuel cell trucks. If you imagine, just as you go to the gas station to get gas for your car, they want to have a broad network across the United States and beyond of hydrogen stations that will make the logistics of filling up these trucks and the economic viability of that system more realistic, as they put it.